What is going on, All Terrain Nation? I am your host, David Boyd, and we've got Daniel, the big deal Groders over there in SoCal. And tonight is a crazy one, guys, because we're in uncharted territory for us. We are going to be talking Cybertruck, Danny, and it's a strange one to me because here, let me fix this. There we go. Uh, it's a stranger to me because we don't know much about EV. We're not dumb to EV by any means, but as far as I wouldn't call us connoisseurs of the EV world, right?
No, we're for the most part. I think me and you agree for on a large portion of some of this stuff about whether it's something that we're gonna enjoy or not. I've slowly but surely been coming around on some of this stuff, some of the EV trucks and the options that are starting to pop out. There's a lot of cool stuff that they're doing. I think obviously price points can be a huge thing across the board,
Oh
and
God.
so yeah, there's a lot of speculation going on, in which we're probably going to be speculating a lot tonight.
Yes, we will be a little bit out there tonight. And before all, you guys know, cheers everybody that
Oh,
yeah, Dan, what are you doing to me,
I know,
brother?
I know. Gotta grab me a
Uh,
beer.
yeah, dude. Anyways, if you guys are on, let us know. Let us know if you can hear everything all right. We so I can adjust volumes. Anything we need to do, please let me know, and we will do it. But first, Danny, is he gonna get it? Cheers, brother.
Got it. Cheers, brother.
All right. What? Oh,
Happy Monday.
it is a
Happy
kind.
almost election day.
It is kind of a happy one. If you
This could
guys,
be this could be the last. This could be the last production.
yes,
Who knows? Who knows if everything goes up in a flame pile of flaming turds.
right. I don't care what side you're on this thing, guys. Just be safe tomorrow, and don't go
Be
out there.
nice.
Yes, just
Be nice. Be safe. Give your neighbor a hug. Whatever stand is in his front yard.
that's right. And just remember that the world will keep turning even after tomorrow and the next day and so on. And eventually we will have a president. So we'll leave it at that. But Danny, like I was saying earlier, EVs like it went from just like a sort of a boutique thing to this past year and a half of like really exploding. A lot of these companies are really, I mean, they've been quietly doing this stuff, but they really just all of a sudden came out there and was like, bam, we're
Yeah.
gonna make a name for ourselves. And then you get companies like GM and everybody that's partner with a lot of these companies, and um, they're kind of legitimizing what Tesla and to a small extent Nissan has done with their EV tech. Um, kind of what's before we break down into these things, what's your first kind of impression of EV, like from the get go when you knew Tesla and Nissan were kind of starting to do this? Were you like, oh, that who cares? What was your
Well,
impressions
we
of it?
we obviously saw little snippets of stuff before the Cybertruck came out, right?
Right.
That's before the Cybertruck. You'd see all these computer generated pictures of all these concept vehicles. So we saw all that and we're like, oh yeah, cool. A concept vehicle is exactly that. It's just a concept, until you see the nuts and bolts. And it's kind of like with gas powered cars and whatnot. You see them, and then by the time you get them, they're all kind of meh.
Yeah.
It seems like that's how it is. The concept's awesome, and then by the time it gets to production, sometimes it's awesome, sometimes it's not. But the the Cybertruck kind of initiated the whole let's do this kind of a thing.
Right.
You saw so many people see the Cybertruck, and all of a sudden they're like, here's my money, here's $100, I want mine.
Yeah.
And where the backlash from that is like, this thing's never going to be street legal. And you saw all this kind of crazy stuff popping out in the last whatever it is, year and a half or whatever since it popped out. But I think because there's been so much forward movement on electric vehicles, and I think because the initial outpouring for the Cybertruck looked pretty strong, I think a lot of manufacturers started looking at a lot of the little guys that were pushing into that arena. We were kind of, Dave and I were going over it initially, all the trucks that are close to whether it's production or merging with other companies. There's the Rivian, there's the Nikola Badger, there's the of course the Cybertruck,
GMC Hummer
Lordstown
now.
Motors,
Yeah.
yeah, the new Hummer popping out. So
F-150's got one coming.
yeah, and I think this year may have slowed the whole process down. It may have kicked everything back, 6 months to a year as far
Right.
as when they're planning on actually debuting stuff to at the dealership kind of a thing. But I think for me, when I saw I think my number one right now is the Nikola Badger.
Mm.
I've talked about it quite a bit. I think it's one of the cooler looking trucks out there right now as far as electric trucks. It looks like it has a lot of really cool features. I'm really warming up to that one. The Cybertruck doesn't really excite me just because it's so effing weird. It might be the best as far as tech and stuff like that.
Right.
We'll see. Who knows? I don't know what to expect from the Tesla, to tell you the truth. It's just Elon Musk is so out there, and
Well,
in his designs and stuff are
the
really.
the thing you can count on with Tesla is it's going to be very late. But when it comes out, it will be as right as it can be. But that's the cool thing with Tesla is once they get it to market, it's usually cool. But yeah, they're never going to make a deadline. And how a tech company gets away with that, because let's not kid ourselves. Tesla is not a car company. Tesla is they're a tech company, and
Yeah,
that can manufacture cars. Because
yeah.
for EV tech, it's all digital, man. It's a motor. It's so simplistic. It's a couple motors, and it's a computer to control them, and it's a battery, and that's about it.
I mean, if you're gonna break it down like
No, but
that,
that's what I'm saying is
that's what it is. I mean, yeah, yeah, yeah.
it's not
It's
GM
it's
building
the
a
same
great.
thing, but all tech.
Yeah, it's not
It's the
GM
same thing as
building.
every other car. Yeah.
Their GM's not building a big beefy V8 or something, or some new turbo tech that in turn like powers this, that does this about the car. It's ridiculous. EV is ridiculously simple when you think about it, and you need a computer, a system to control it all, and that's where Tesla really, like, that's their plus, man.
Well, they've been doing it so, or not so long, but longer than a lot of companies, and I think one of the reasons is because they're doing primarily that. That's all they're doing. So they've been
Right.
able to do a lot of R&D. And you say they're a tech company, but in truth, they're kind of like a everything company at this point. They're a manufacturing
Yeah.
company. They're a tech company. They have the battery warehouses, the SpaceX. They're definitely. Um, I mean, yeah, you can call them a tech company, but they're a conglomeration of many many things, and so may have a step up in that world. Nissan's been, the Leaf has been selling for a very long time, so they have
Yeah.
a good toe in that. A lot of other manufacturers are bringing in companies into their fold, whether it's their technology or whatever testing they've already done, and I think that's how they're jumping into this, by whether it's acquiring other companies, or basically the other companies working for them as a. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how all that works.
Right. Right.
that the corporations working together to produce something for, maybe they're making something for Ford, and Ford buys a certain amount of their tech to put into their new F-150 or whatever. But there's a lot of that going on right now, and it's cool. I think it's cool. We're moving forward, and you can't just be like, I'm never gonna drive an electric truck or whatever. There are some really effing rad things about electric trucks. There really are. Um, but it's kind of like, it's kind of like the iPhone. It's really effing expensive for a new iPhone.
Right. No doubt.
But and the reason so many people have them is because they got all kinds of payment plans and stuff like that. But anytime you have new tech, it's expensive right off the bat until you can start getting more people. The more people buy it, the more they're willing to you know manufacture stuff for it in mass and etc. So
Right. Well, so I wanted to get in this topic, because the cool thing about ATN here is, like, it's all about just vehicles, any kind of transportation. We're going to be heavy into trucks and stuff, but cars, we'll do it all. But EV is like something. It's funny. So when GMC just released the Hummer a couple weeks ago, and I did a live stream on it, um, the next day videos popped out, but it wasn't by your normal YouTube guys, your Doug DeMuros, or these guys that cover this stuff for a living, or Motor Trend or any of these companies. It was all by tech companies that got their first hands on this stuff. And that's why I'm saying it's these guys know their audience. They know that tech companies and these guys that do tech shows are the first to kind of, go that direction and push these things. But did I lose you, Dan? Uh-oh. Did we lose Dan? He's a little stoppage there. We'll see if he pops back in. There he is. There's Danny.
Sorry, Dave. You went Megatron on me.
Oh, well, anyways, but the broadcast ends on my end, so. But Dan, I was saying is all these companies, like, they were giving tech review places their first hands-on about these vehicles before anybody. Now, Doug DeMuro did a cool video today, and I don't know that you follow him or not, Danny, but he's got a show called More Doug, where he kind of breaks down a topic. He doesn't just do the quirks and features of vehicles. He breaks it down, and he was talking about he got to walk around the GMC Hummer, and people were giving him such crap because they seen a wall plug going under the car, which is all show cars are plugged. They're all plugged in because the battery would be dead if you didn't. Yeah. And he didn't get to drive the thing or anything. Well, let's be honest. All of these right now, except Rivian that I know about, are basically all little show pieces. GMC, right. Don't kid yourself. GMC has not built the first actual Hummer that you've seen in those videos. That was all computer generated imagery. It wasn't right. It wasn't a real truck doing that. And they're selling things now that people are buying things or buying into things that aren't even real yet. And I will say for Tesla. Now, like I said earlier, Tesla is always late coming to market, which you just know that's Tesla. They're going to be late. But when they dropped this, and we're going to go through the video in just a minute, when they dropped it, guess what they did right after? People got to go for a little lap around in a couple real Tesla trucks. Now, yes, Cybertruck is like a love it or hate it. But I think that was the point of this. Tesla's always been like ahead of pushing boundaries. I think it comes out in a couple weeks that the actual design of the Cybertruck's not what we're going to see in this video. But let's get right into. I want to get right into this. Kind of what the reveal was for this thing. So let's pull it up here.
And let me say too, Dave, while you're pulling that up, is besides the Cybertruck, that the new Hummer, I've been seeing so many commercials for that thing. They are really, really pushing that out.
Well, and that's something Tesla
so I think they're working
does.
hard. Yeah, and I think they're working very hard to get the word out on that. And I think part of that's probably because they have a lot invested into it. Right. I think that's
of course.
part of the game is they need that initial excitement about it that you see with Cybertruck and stuff like that.
Right. Well, let's see if we can play this video here real quick, and this was kind of the launch of it.
By the way, what's up, Joe, Taylor, Frank B, Ramesh, Cordetti? They're all in here. Our boys that are solid every week, guys. Cheers, boys.
So that's
Cybertruck.
Yeah,
it's so weird looking.
It is weird, but that was what they kind of before, and I'm going to get to more of the release on thing, but that was the launch of it. And I think what Tesla needed to do, they needed to be so weird with this thing. I think the underpinning of this truck is what it's going to be. They've got a couple different motor options, a 1, 2, or 3 motor option, but they needed to come out of the box to get people's attention. And I think that's what Cybertruck was, the intent of that odd looking to it. What do you your first impressions of that thing, Dan?
Well, obviously Elon is weird. And I think part of that, you see it in Hollywood a lot where it's like Lady Gaga's wearing a meat suit or something like that. It's that crazy, whoa, this is, it grabs your attention initially. And it's very Back to the Future looking kind of, where they came out with just the all stainless look. It's so out there that I think that was part of the the idea is cutting edge. This is the first of its kind of a thing, and so in that regard, it got attention. And um, I can I just don't see it as like the everyman vehicle at all.
Oh no.
I see it as you know people that have quite a bit of money. I think it's going to be kind of the same thing with the Tesla when it first came out. People that are a little bit more affluent that want something big and beefy that they're I think that's going to be their core market.
Right. Well, so now I've got it. This is Tesla's website I've got up right now, and if we want to order one, we could throw $100 down. Now, I will say this: Tesla taught every other manufacturer how to do pre-orders. Dude, they wrote the book
Oh yeah.
on hey, people will throw if they're serious, let them throw $100 down. And you know what that $100 does? That's money in their bank, whether you ever you'll get your money back or not. You're financing this vehicle basically for them to
Yeah,
develop it.
it's like you're buying stock basically is what
Yeah,
you're doing, right?
yeah, and so there you see this thing, and you look at the quirkiness of it. It's a triangle, and once again, this thing will not pass any kind of safety testing right now. No crap, like it would kill a pedestrian in a heartbeat. Like those there's no headlights to this thing. That light bar will not pass any kind of ratings.
Highway safety NTHSB
Yes.
or whatever it is.
Yes. But guess what? At some point, though, and they're gonna be first to market on this. At some point, you're just gonna rent a ride, and the car is gonna take you wherever you need to go. And that's kind of where this design is. I think it's showing.
Isn't that what leasing is? That's what leasing is, right?
Yeah, sort of. Except for you're gonna not even drive the lease. But
Yeah.
so let's look in this thing just a little bit. There's a little side profile of it.
What's up, William?
They took so much crap about like my kid. There were so many memes going around of my kid could design this basically, and whatever. I commend them for taking a chance on this thing. But let's see. So it says the exoskeleton Cybertruck is built on a exterior shell made of the ultimate durability and passenger protection, starting with the nearly impenetrable exoskeleton, which we'll get to that. It's designed for superior strength, endurance from ultra-hard 30x cold roll stainless steel structure skin to Tesla's armor glass. Well, that
was fun, right?
Yeah, so
armor glass.
And let's get into that because I am ready for the armor glass. All right. So first off, let's get into this YouTube video. These are some famous moments from a live reveal that just didn't really work out well.
You can't do with a body on frame.
Revisit those.
So we're able to make the skin out of thick, ultra hard stainless steel. It's really hard.
Really hard.
We're gonna show you just.
I love his fan base there too, man. He could fart right there and they'd all love it. Like hardcore.
Tony Stark showing off his new truck.
Franz has a sledgehammer.
And I think the whole story was like they were testing to see if that worked, and they may have like micro cracked it or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't hold back.
That was
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, watch when you can tell when he swings too. It's a little different at the Tesla truck versus this. This is obviously a Ford aluminum door.
It's a regular truck door.
Oh, gotta take the jacket.
They got the dead blow hammer, right?
You want me to do this? Go it. Do it.
Yeah, Joe says I'm playing along with No Shave November. I got 3 days off, so I've been shaving every day for the last 11 years.
Yeah. Yeah, hit it a couple times. You want to hit it again? All right.
This is the guy's workout for the week.
Nice. Now hit the Cybertruck.
Yeah, it did
Same
dent it.
thing.
And that's
Hit
like
a
the
hot-
Ford
hit a
door,
hot-
right?
Watch when he
First they're
hits this
showing the
though.
Ford door.
He doesn't put all the effort that he did in that Ford door.
Yeah.
Ford door stood up pretty good though, if you ask me.
Really wind up. Nail it.
Watch. Look, he didn't really wind up. You can tell he wasn't.
Yeah.
Like, Ed,
He
hey,
definitely didn't put the juice in it.
Right, and more power to him on that because yeah.
I mean, you'd probably be a little scared. You don't want to like do that on national television.
Right,
The second one was a pretty decent swing.
It was a ballsy move. I'm not gonna lie
Yeah.
to do that, but um, hey, it's a lot of it's about showmanship, right? It's
Yeah.
about um showing, oh, we're this much tougher. And yeah, you take an aluminum door that Ford's using, and I could knock a golf ball into it and it'd probably dent it. And I will say this, and this is sort of off topic, Danny. There was a picture the other day where somebody on a Ford aluminum bed had they put what's the ratchet? They put ratchet straps on, the little holes that they put on the top of the bed so that you can
Oh
kinda
yeah,
tie down.
that one shot around the internet.
Yeah,
there for
and
a
it
little bit.
ripped all the way through the bed, all the way down to the wheel well. And I was like, holy crap, man. I'll say this, I've seen so many Ford tailgates with holes in them and stuff that it's kind of ridiculous, man. But I mean, anything to make these vehicles light, to kind of make them.
Yeah. The aluminum thing's kind of it's like a hit or miss. It's it definitely lightens a truck up, a vehicle that's traditionally extremely heavy.
Right.
Lightning, if you can light it up, that's great. But then and then like you see if they catch on fire, they like literally just melt it out.
Yes. There's a puddle of aluminum sitting there.
Mm-hmm.
Guys, let us know in the comments here, what is your initial opinions of this thing? And obviously the Cybertruck's been out for quite a while, so we're not breaking news by any means, but we wanted to kind of dip our toes into the EV world here. Joe Taylor, thank you for coming in. Frank B, my two moderators extraordinaire. We got Ronald.
Raul is here.
We got Ronald with Hawaii Nation in here. We've got Cordetti, Jeff's in here. We've got a Ramesh and normal cast. And guys, thank you for joining us here. We're talking Broncos. Raul, I'm pretty sure this channel gets a lot of Bronco talk right now, so you should be pretty happy with this. It's one of the things we can actually talk about, like that there's news all the time about. But so Danny, let's get into this. There was an issue with the door panel in this thing, if I remember right. They or the glass. Let's take a look at this, guys. And this is you couldn't have a more embarrassing moment than there. They show that dropping a ball, and it's didn't break the glass. Well, okay. Now this is, Danny, where they come up with some excuse of why this happened. They said they did this a couple times backstage.
Try to break this glass, please.
Yeah, this is where they're showing off the new future glass.
Yep.
If you will.
Sure. Yeah.
Oh!
Oh my fucking god. Well.
Look at that dude. His face
Maybe that
is
was
just
a
like.
little too hard.
Man.
How's it a little too hard? It was supposed to take a bullet.
Sorry. It didn't go through.
Yeah, it's pretty classic.
Let's try the right.
It didn't go through.
really?
Well, it wouldn't go through safety glass either.
Yeah.
Oh man, it didn't go through.
Yeah, I can only imagine what the conversations were later.
Yep.
After that happened.
Not bad.
Not bad. The thing with Elon, like, he is a little bit of a showman, so he knows he can play it off. Now, he's no polished big three guy that would have been up there and I think been a little more polished, but he played that off pretty well, I think.
Yeah. I mean, he's just awkward and weird, anyways. So it just his whole presentation, he is who he is,
Yeah.
and you kind of know like he's only one thing. He's just this weird genius that's talking about stuff. I mean, the price. I mean, the price for that one Tesla, it's like $69,420, and the product line is like the S3X. Why it spells sexy or whatever.
Right.
It's kind of funny. Just
of course.
like he just kind of I wouldn't call it trolling, but it's just his weirdness comes out for sure.
Well,
but it's entertaining.
So now we're looking. It's scrolling through kind of the interior and stuff of this thing. Now, of course, it's got a weird steering wheel, but never pass. Anything
Yeah,
at all.
It's all concept style look and stuff like that, which you have to kind of expect. I mean, it really is. It's a concept vehicle that they're going to try and get as much of that concept stuff in, while at the same time it's excuse me, it's they're going to have to do some type of usability and stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, obviously, it's going to have a big widescreen in the middle of the thing. That's Tesla's known for that, having their kind of hub, their center control hub in the
Mhm.
thing. But I will be curious. So I think last I heard in a couple of weeks, they're supposed to actually reveal kind of the next look of this thing, and I got a feeling it's going to be more truck like because I think. I think they did get a lot of interest on this thing, but
Mhm.
I think when Hummer and some of these others that look more like a truck are definitely stealing sales from Tesla. Now, the only thing I will say in defense of this truck is Tesla usually when they drop something, it's kind of where they want it to be, and this would be the first time that
Yeah.
they sort of had to kind of rewind a little bit and maybe
I think that whatever they come out with is going to be closer to is going to be closer to whatever the concept is. This thing right here. I think it'll be a lot closer than what you usually see when a concept comes out,
right.
and then what the real thing is. Tesla usually stays a lot closer to what that concept is. I think that's one of the things that you will definitely see when you see the production models coming out.
All right, now here we're going to get into specs, Dan. So and before we get deep into these specs, I am curious about why I get in the car world why you want your car to be 0-60 times and you want it to be the fastest. And obviously, I don't care how many cylinders you have, electric vehicles is everything you have instantly. There's like a
Yeah.
gasoline engine is never going to compete with that. But why do we need a truck that can break 3 seconds? Because let's go to the tri-motor here. 2.9 seconds is what this is rated
Because
at.
it can.
I know, but
You don't need to, but it can.
but when I think of a truck, I'm not thinking about lap times or quarter mile times.
Yeah, but I mean, okay, so if you put a really really big V8 in for towing, in a truck, and it's capable of doing let's just say it's capable of doing 3 seconds. Of course, you're going to want to tell people about it. It's not
Yeah.
its primary goal to do that. They don't want people driving around at 0 to 60 at 2.9 seconds. But
Mm-hmm.
just because it has the power plants that it does, it can do that. And so why not say, hey, look at all these amazing specs. These aren't necessarily its key selling points. I don't think anybody's going like, I want a Tesla truck so I can feel 0 to 60 at 3 seconds.
Yeah.
I don't think that's a key selling point on it. But like that's just what it is.
Right. Do you think at some point that because with EV tech, if you full throttle it, you lose a lot of battery quick. Do you think at some point they start like kind of going towards the motor route of ramped up torque, where it slowly torques up? Because
Well, I think they already do that, David. I
Do
think
they?
and I think that's where you get, you put in ludicrous mode, and you can do that ridiculous,
yeah,
standing, not necessarily standing burnout, but like that stop to 30,
yeah,
if you want to put it in ludicrous mode and show it off to your friends, it's cool.
Mhm.
That's a cool thing. It's a cool, fun thing to do. Nobody has it in ludicrous mode every single day. Not well. Most people don't have it in ludicrous mode every single day. Because I'm sure it does terrible things to it doesn't do terrible, but it doesn't make any sense. So the fact that you can do that
right,
is just, it may not be necessarily a selling point, but it's something that you can do that's really freaking cool. That's fun. That makes it exciting. So, it's it, anything that you can add excitement to a vehicle,
yeah.
why not?
So
And really, all that is it's just a quick program that you
yeah,
switch through.
yeah. But I know it's a big feature on all these trucks we're about to go through is our 0 to 60 times. And once again, I don't look for my trucks, but then again, like these things are breaking all the rules. EV breaks all the rules of what cars should do. It's a whole it's just like gas engine. There's these people that like gas engines, and then there's these people that like EV, and they don't. We're old school, Danny. We like gas engines, and we're probably never
Yeah.
going to understand that other than being racers and like to go fast. Like there's no practical reason that this thing should ever do a 2.9 second 0 to 60.
Other than just showing off to your friends.
Exactly. Let's see. Sorry about
Expedition Outfitters. Hey guys, where do I send a pic of my rig so you guys can review it? Dave, you want to weigh in?
that would be on the Nissan Nation side, sir. So that's for if you have a Nissan, Raul. Gladly on Nissan Nation, you go do that. But let's see. So 0 to 60 in the tri-motor, and the tri-motor is 2 in the back, and I think 1 that's for the front. They're saying that particular one's going to have a 500 plus mile range, Danny, which as of right now, and these are all just speculative claims by any of these companies. There's no real world testing. Obviously, I think this is where Tesla's ahead of a lot of people because they already know their battery tech and what it can and cannot do. They know
Right.
the volume of that they can put of batteries in this thing, so they have a pretty good idea of what this will do. That is interesting. The 500 miles in anything EV,
Yeah.
because that makes it more practical. Because guys, once you turn the AC on, or once you start using things, that 500 miles goes down to 450, and then stop and go. Like real world is that 500 miles is probably like 425, but that 425 gets you to a lot of places. And I know like where you live, Danny, like if you're so far out of LA, if you needed to go to LAX or something, like that would start to be a concern of like range on one of these, right?
Well, I think the whole like right around 350 is pretty solid. That's most
Cars, yeah.
decent gas tanks and for cars and trucks. 350 is, we'll just call that kind of like the benchmark with a 20 to 25 gallon tank and a truck that gets 17 to 20 miles per gallon or whatever in that range. So that is driving for 3.5 hours that's a long drive, and so. Tesla definitely has a very good network of fast charging stations and stuff like that, where you may have to plan out that you're gonna drive to Vegas and you might have to stop somewhere and do a fast charge for whatever it is, 20 or 30 minutes or something like that. But their infrastructure definitely is hands down the best in the U.S. right now. So that's a huge thing for them, a massive thing for them. And I think a lot of EV companies are going to be leaning on Tesla. If you're going to have to do something special in order to plug your Rivian into a Tesla thing or something like that.
Right.
But
They
Tesla
make
definitely has the.
They do make adapters for that stuff. But yeah, no, I think where Tesla wins with a lot of this is their grid. Like they've got a grid now across America. Now, it's still a little sparse in areas, but they do have, like, you can go to Moab and there's right by Zach's Pizza, there's a row of chargers and they're fast chargers. Where some of these other companies, they, like you're saying, they kind of have to bow down to Tesla on some of that because that costs billions of dollars just to get that going. And we all know Tesla's chewed through lots of money. But let's see. So that's a tri-motor. Now you can get down in a single motor, and it's 0 to 60 is 6.5 seconds, which is still nothing to frown about. Like if you could only get the single motor, but it takes it down to a 250 mile range, which I don't know, Danny, in an actual truck, if you were to put any kind of weight in this thing, I don't know what that does for you.
Yeah, that could. I mean, especially if you're talking about towing or something like that. If you have a 250 mile range standard, and then you wanted to tow something, even if you're towing a 6,000 pound trailer or something like that, that could really kill some towing miles. And I don't want to have to stop every 150 miles to charge up my truck with a trailer on it.
Right.
That definitely poses some serious problems.
Well, there's some redneck dude that's going to buy one of these days, and he's going to have a gas generator in the back of it. Like, so he pulls the gas generator, and it just gives him
He's just got a big trailer with a generator on it.
Yeah.
I can drive forever.
Yeah. It's weird. It takes dinosaur fuel. But but the prices on these things are pretty crazy. I don't know how far we can get in this order thing. So let's see. Make sure you guys can see this okay. And you really can't. But so the single motor is $39,900. The dual motor is $49,000. And the tri-motor is $69,000. And where I'm leading to is, let's go to Hummer. So we're now on the Hummer page, and Hummer's prices are a little bit
steep,
a little bit crazy. And okay, so the Hummer EV two motors, you get 250 mile range. The towing is nearly the same. The EV2X, you can get 300 miles, and the kind of the big boy is the Hummer EV3X with a 300 plus mile range, and even the Edition 1 only gives you a 350-mile range. And this is where I know a lot of people have been like, "Oh man, Hummer, there's, GM, they're going to do this and they're so close." And I think battery tech's what kills the Hummer a little bit versus a Cybertruck.
I think price.
Well, no, definitely price.
Yeah, battery. I mean, I imagine they're probably all using the same batteries. I mean, there's not a big. I mean, there's not like a new They're all using lithium batteries.
Yeah, but Tesla has their own. Tesla does have their own, and they were farming some of their batteries out to Panasonic and stuff overseas. But I think they've actually brought a lot of that even back in house.
Right, but it's not like there's a huge difference between their batteries. I think part of it may be the controllers
how they use the battery.
And how efficient those batteries are getting used. Whether it's not like you can't go buy a Tesla and take it apart and see what they're using.
Right.
That it's if you take a Tesla battery all the way down to the very nuts and bolts of the batteries, they're all like there's hundreds and hundreds of little tiny batteries in there, really. And so I think the core batteries are going to be very, very similar. It depends on, if they're the most premium pieces of. I don't know enough about batteries to say, the very expensive lithium versus like the cheap lithium. I think they're going to use as best as they can within that price range. But I think the Hummer is going to not do great just because of how much it's going to cost.
Well, I think so where Hummer wins right now is it actually looks like a vehicle. GM in general was very lucky that they had the Hummer name just sitting over there. They tried to sell that name off years ago, guys. Don't let it like they've been planning this one for a long time. They tried to sell Hummer off to the Chinese a long time ago, and they could never make that work. So they had sort of a classic design here. I will say, like, I think they nailed the look. I think it looks great. And I think, too, where they have a plus is the interior. It actually looks, the inside of this thing actually looks like a vehicle.
It's a lot less, it's a lot less concept vehicle look to it,
Even though this is
very
heavily
kind of
concept.
fit and finish look.
Heavily concept. Don't let's not kid ourselves about that. But so Danny, I know you're a fan of Rivian.
Like, I'm a huge fan of Rivian.
Like you some friends of ours got to with the Rebel rally. They got, obviously there was one in the Rebel. People that we know actually helped maintenance these vehicles when they were down at night. And our buddy Mike got to do some time in one of these, right?
Yeah, he got a ride in it. And kind of see it perform out there. I think I've talked a little bit about how they took like the first and second Rivians that they actually built in their facility. I think it was last year that they were finishing their manufacturing facility, because they have a full manufacturing facility that they were building, that they're putting together to start manufacturing these, in the U.S. And so they put together two of these. I mean, they were prototypes. It wasn't like, they were hand built prototypes, and they weren't, there was a lot of the switches and stuff were just boxes with switches in them,
right. Right.
But on the long way up, they drove them from South America all the way up, and not without kind of problems, not necessarily pure truck problems, but when you take a truck and you go out, drive dirt for 300-400 miles, you're gonna have, especially with a hand built prototype vehicle, you're gonna have problems.
Right.
So they messed it up a couple times. They broke one of the brakes and stuff like that. What was kind of cool is they have tow charge mode for the Rivian, so you can tow that truck behind another truck or car or something like that, and it'll charge your battery up. So if you're 20 miles from town and you run out of battery, if you can talk somebody into towing you for 10 miles, you can get that last 10 miles out of it, which is kind of cool. I'm sure that's something that they could do with other vehicles in that space. But it definitely looks like they've been putting it through the ringer in a lot of different scenarios, off-road and in heavy dirt. So from that aspect, I really like that that kind of testing is going on with them,
Mm-hmm.
and I think it's gonna pay off, um, in the quality of the build and how long it's gonna last if it's actually put into some serious elements.
Well, the thing with Rivian, they're supposedly go on sale late spring, early summer next year, and the thing is, if they're allowing these things to be real world tested, obviously, and like things like the Rebel Rally, and I was told even within the Rebel Rally, the mileage they were getting wasn't great, but they were doing a lot of off road stuff, so it just eats up a battery. But supposedly Rivian hasn't even opened up that battery, like as far as what it can do. They were still working off a very limited battery, so they're still kind of testing that, but the mileage on this thing is supposedly going to be excellent. The cool thing about Rivian that kind of Hummer does too is, I've said this many times, it looks like a pickup truck,
Yeah.
but it's just different, spacey enough that kind of gets
Mhm.
the tech guy interested in this thing.
Exactly, and that's kind of where I'm at with it. It's forward enough as far as its design is concerned, where it actually looks like it's real futuristic looking, but at the same time, it does have some of the it's got some of the comfort.
Yeah.
You're comfortable enough with it. You're like, it's super futuristic looking, but at the same time, I'm comfortable with the design to where it's not so futuristic looking. I don't trust it.
Right,
That's
right.
kind of how I feel about the Tesla. It's so futuristic and so wacky looking that I'm like, I'm not quite ready to take that dive into something so wacky. Let's bring me a little bit more comfort into this thing. It's not just some weird looking thing that I want to drive through Beverly Hills so people give me looks. It's
Right.
actually like a usable vehicle, and that I know has been tested in extreme conditions, and that it works in all these different conditions.
Well, let's look. I haven't, and just a heads up, I haven't looked at this video just yet, but it's Rivian's video from them building these things.
Yeah, they built like a full brand new state of the art plant for these to build these things too. That they are doing, so which is exciting. It's cool. They're making jobs in the U.S. and coming out with something really cool. So that's exciting.
Well, it's a whole minute long thing that we can go through there, but we'll not do that. But like Danny said, and you can see in that video, they have a whole manufacturing plant that they're ready to go, but they're doing it the right way. They could have probably rushed that thing out. And any of these guys, I in my heart, I think GMC did rush the Hummer. I think late last winter at some point they were like, oh damn, we got to get into that space a little bit. People are really starting to show interest in that. And I personally feel like they announced that Hummer, what was it, during the Super Bowl or something, of like, it's coming. They got LeBron
I
James.
I think they needed money for it.
Yes, and that's
sales are down, and they're like, we're gonna need money for this. We got to at least launch it and get some seed money
right
to build this thing.
and it's part of what those little $100 do. But like you were saying, and there you can see there's the pictures of the thing doing. There's Emmy and her co-pilot. They're doing the Rebel Rally, and this thing did it. Now I know the charging of it was, they had a little bit of issues, and they brought in a company because when they realized there was going to be two competitors in this, because Mitsubishi had an EV there too.
Mm-hmm.
They had to bring in somebody that could literally charge these things and rapidly charge them. And
I think they had one of those Sprinter vans with a massive solar panel that it's basically like the entire roof that would fold over with a solar panel that they would be able to it's kind of one of the chase vehicles. And I think that's how they charged it in certain scenarios.
Okay. But let's see. Let's get into the RT1. Here's the truck. Once again, I think this looks like what you want in it. And the Hummer, like you were saying, Danny, the Hummer is so overly priced. And my cat wants to be in the video here. The Hummer's going to be
what was the top Hummer pricing?
$112,000.
Yeah, so you're looking at almost $30,000, almost $40,000 more than like the top Tesla, right? So
yeah, and Tesla, was starting out about $39,000, which I for 250 miles, that's probably a little pricey to me. But at least it was a more honest kind of everyday price versus what GMC was doing. But let's see. Let's hit pre-order here because I'm not sure. So you can put $1,000 down on this. And it looks like you can put on their SUV.
And the Rivian's showing starting at 69,000. So they might be up into the 80 when you get the full package with everything.
Right.
They're stating up to 400,000 mile range.
400,000? No.
That's what it says on their website. 0 to 60 in 30 in 3 seconds. Wading depth is over 3 feet, so you're looking like right below the front headlight is how deep you can go with that without having problems.
Mm-hmm.
About the same towing capacity, 11K. 11K seems to be the kind of the standard in that area. And the size of it is right. And we were looking at the size of this because we had kind of gone back and forth on how big is this truck actually in real life, and it's right there with the F-150. So this is in that 1500 size.
And I think
I think
Expedition Outfitters was saying that I think Ford did fund a big chunk of this or bought into it once they kind of had proof and concept.
Yeah, they might have a stake in it.
So definitely going to see a lot of this tech probably in the next F-150. But yeah,
yeah, they're testing an electric F-150 as well. That's something that's definitely on the horizon. That when I was prepping for the show, I saw that they're out with an electric version F-150 that they've been driving around for a little bit now.
Mm-hmm. Imagine like trying to service one of these things, Dan.
Yeah,
not
that'll
a lot,
be interesting too.
Not a lot to service about them, Now,
yeah, that's something to be mentioned as well with the Tesla. They don't really have real like dealerships
Yeah.
and service stations. There's that's something that's that I've heard is kind of interesting with them is they'll like come and pick your truck up or your Tesla car up and bring it to like a certified Tesla servicing area somewhere. It's like
Right.
a hub or something like that.
Well,
if you have real problems with it.
And some of these, and of course Tesla is proof in pudding how they deliver vehicles to your door and stuff. But I know there's been things with Tesla where people have gotten their cars at night and took them off the truck, signed for them, and then in the day there's all kinds of paint quality issues they find. And
yeah.
So I'm curious.
Well, when the Model 3 came out, there was a lot of talk about how the fit and finish and the quality of parts was a little bit chintzy, for what they thought that they were getting.
Right. But so like you were saying with no dealerships, some of these guys, at some point they do have to be serviced. Yes, they don't have to be serviced as much as your normal
it's
cars.
A totally different kind of dealer network that you're gonna have to set up. You're gonna have to service them because they got tires, they have brakes, but there's gonna be a lot more probably remote servicing type of places where you bring it in and it may not be a massive shop, but they're gonna bring it in and they're gonna hook it up to a computer and they're gonna have a hub of engineers that go through your truck remotely.
Right. Well, the one thing that maybe is something that people need to start looking at too, especially if you live up north, is rust. Now, obviously, vehicles like the 3 and stuff are made to be daily driven. I'm curious about how they're protecting against rust in some of these vehicles, because at some point they do have somewhat of a frame. Like clearly the Rivian here, I'll pull it back up. There is an actual frame to this vehicle, and man, I can't even comprehend the amount of protection like the batteries need from rust. Any kind of corrosion to get into that battery has to screw it up. Obviously, you were talking about these things being able to ford water, which just lends itself to rust.
Yeah, they have to have a very strong water ingress program to make sure that everything is excessively sealed and stuff like that. I think most trucks these days are pretty strong when it comes to keeping corrosion from happening in their trucks. It used to be such a huge deal a long time ago. I think with the the introduction of aluminum and all these things, I don't see it being a huge problem, to tell you the truth. I think we've come a long way in that situation. Again, totally depends on how well they've sealed up all their battery and all their electronics and stuff like that.
Right. Well, guys, any comments you guys have about this? Yes, Jeff. The Hummer looks very much like the Grand Wagoneer. There is definitely that same look to it with the light bar going across the front. Expedition Outfitter says, "Isn't Tesla making their batteries in Nevada?" I do believe they have a plant in Nevada. But like I said, I know overseas they I think it was Panasonic was doing a lot of their battery building, but I read something the other day where Tesla was trying to pull that back in house as well. Frank B, what the heck is that truck with the ATV in the back? um, this is interesting, guys, and once again I know like when me and Danny we were going to talk about this, like we don't have a lot of the answers on this stuff as far as like because this is so new. The cars you could talk about and have a little more things you could research about, but trucks is like it's all out there, Dan. It is all
Yeah,
out there.
there's Nikola Badger that looks like it's the same size too. There's quite a few out there. I don't know if the Nikola Badger will end up getting you know picked up by somebody, or if they're planning on doing the same thing as the Rivian. That's another really good looking truck that might have, that might be a force in the market once everything starts cranking out. Again, it's a new company, it's a new automotive company, which in on we talk so much about all the big threes buying up all these smaller companies and stuff like that using their tech. But at the same time, I mean, way back in the day, there were so many of these different car companies popping up making cool cars. And if you're really kind of a automotive historian, there was car companies that would make it and car companies that didn't. But there was a lot of little ones that when the in the age of combustion engines started taking off with Ford and GM and Chevy and Dodge and um, I'm totally spacing on all the car companies
Well,
that
Oldsmobile and all those were actually their own companies at some point.
yeah,
They just
exactly.
slowly...
But it's cool to see like new truck companies coming, basically saying, hey, the top three or the top four aren't really doing what we think consumers want right now. So let's start a new company. And
Right.
so I see hopefully maybe there's a little bit more competition in the market. Maybe these guys do, get a foothold and they start making some moves and they say, you know what, we've got this foothold. We're gonna stick to our guns and we're gonna stay with our own stuff. And maybe maybe we get two or three more companies that started as electric car companies that are offering, good quality,
Yeah.
whether it's American made or, just good quality trucks. There's nothing wrong with some more competition in the market. There's nothing wrong with Ford and GM having to compete with a couple more people because
Right.
that's good for the consumer when it comes down to it.
Right. Well, guys, that was our EV show, mostly about the Tesla there, but obviously we got opinions about all these things. If you like this kind of content, smash that subscribe button, hit the like button. We're like this channel is especially it's about everything, man. So we want to, last week was motorcycles. Some of these shows are going to be popular and some aren't, but the guys that stick with us, thank you so much for sticking with us, Dan.
For sure, guys. Yeah.
I'm the EV thing is very interesting to me, and it's one of those vehicles that I just haven't had a chance to kind of get into yet. So I need to do it pretty soon, just so I have a very a better understanding of these vehicles. And I know companies like Ram. You said your buddy had one of the new Ram pickup trucks. It's a hybrid of sorts, and
Yeah, they have their electric motor basically boosting that up. Yeah, there's a lot of that stuff going on. I mean, even Formula One has basically their little electric boost that they're allowed to use that they can charge up. That I was just watching this weekend. There's so much electricity shooting through the automotive industry these days that people have to pay attention to it because it's there. And I mean it's good tech and it's starting to become very reliable tech as well. So it's part of the future.
Yep, it is, guys. And so once again, if you like this kind of content, let us know. Yes, so on our sister channel, Nissan Nation Productions, Wednesday, I will be streaming the live reveal of the next Navara. That's going to be fun. We've got on this channel, we're going to do some things. If it's not Nissan, generally, a lot of the content's going to eventually switch to this channel. But if it's the Nissan content, we'll keep it over there just because we've got a nice fan base of that loves that brand over there. But we did the Grand Wagoneer reveal. We've done the Hummer reveal here. And if you guys want to see something, please let us know. You can get a hold of us through our website, allterrainnation.com. Let us know if there's something you're interested in. And if you are a Nissan guy, me and Danny's opened up our website to, or our email to drop us a picture of your vehicle and give us a little info about it, because we're going to do a review maybe next this Friday show, Danny, if you can do it. We do that.
Sounds like a fun time.
And it's all in fun generally. There's nothing, mean about it, but we are going to have some fun with that. And
I'm going to rip them apart. Especially my friend's vehicle. If I see any of my friends' vehicles up there, I'm going to tear them apart.
We're looking at you, Roll.
Yeah, send us a pic, but
Oh.
I have pictures of his truck. So.
Oh, my cat wanted to be in the video, I guess. All right, guys. So that was a show that's right at about an hour. We appreciate you, everybody, being on. And Danny, you got any final words before we drop this thing out of here?
Nothing specific. Just keep praying for Dave's family. Dave,
Yeah, I haven't. I needed to mention that. Thank you, Danny. Because somebody had asked in the comments. So my dad and both my parents got COVID, and my mom suffers from COPD. She would be the worst person you'd think ever to get COVID. Not really sick at all. My dad, who is healthy as an ox at 79 years old, strong heart. The doctors went through and was like, dude, he's like, he shouldn't be in this situation, but he has pneumonia in both of his lungs, COVID-related pneumonia. He's in ICU right now. And when I had to leave the show on the Nissan side the other night, it was literally my mom called me in a panic, so I had to deal with that. And Danny, I appreciate you taking over that show. And,
I know everybody's pulling for you and your family, and we'll keep praying for you. And it is what it is out there. People take care of each other.
Wash your hands.
And we're all in this together when everything's said and done. Whether or not you disagree, be nice.
Yep.
Be nice.
Be nice. And tomorrow, please be nice. Hey, and tomorrow Joe Rogan's doing a watch party for the presidential thing, so that should be a fun time. So, guys, no matter what you drive, whether it be two-wheel drive, four-wheel drive, or whatever you drive, this has been All Terrain Nation, and I'm your host, David Boyd, with Danny over there. And what are we, Danny?
Oh!
Peace, everybody. We will see y'all Friday on the